Okay, in today's video, I'm sharing with you something that is very special to me, and I figured it would be the perfect time because right now I am recuperating from a hip replacement that I had last week, and I just didn't feel like being in front of the camera. And the video that I had planned to publish this week did not happen. So I am doing sort of an impromptu video, and I hope you like it. This video is about art journaling and the art journals that I've used throughout the years, the Moleskine Sketchbook, and what I do with them when they're finished. So in 2004, I was art journaling and I was rug hooking. I was doing primitive rug hooking, and I was making my own journals because it was more affordable and I enjoyed the process. But that year for Christmas, my mother gave me a Moleskine sketchbook. And it's the 5 inches by 8.5, 8.25. This is what it is here. And I will leave a link for that below in the description. And it's not made from Moleskine. I think originally it was. The legacy of Moleskine has been around for a long time, and I think like Hemingway used to use them and whatnot. But they're one of my favorites. So back to 2004, my mother gave me my first Moleskine sketchbook. And I just started filling it in. And it's funny because I write in the very first page, here we go, Mom gave me this Moleskine journal for Christmas. And oh, how I've been eyeballing these lovely darlings for so very long and never purchased one for myself. And why did I not indulge my journaling passion? I also feel the same way about alphabet stamps. Interesting that I talk about alphabet stamps here. Oh, they are so cool. Anyway, so this was 2004, and I started this sketchbook, and I just filled it with my art journaling and my issues and my things that were working out in my life and not working out. I'm not going to do a flip through because that's not what this video is about, but I primarily wanted to show you the outside, which have been adorned with my rug hooking. And it was funny because when I would finish a journal, I was like, well, I don't really want to paint or collage on the cover because I've done that on the inside. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem intriguing or make it even more special. And since I was rug hooking, I decided to hook panels that would fit specifically on my journals so that I could glue them on. And I'm going to share them with you. So this was the first one, and I did this sort of funky little tag that I secured through. I would hook on burlap with repurposed wool. So let's talk about my journey with primitive rug hooking. I was taught by a friend in Topsfield, and she had a bag one day at an art class we were at, and I didn't even know her, but she had this sort of pattern on the side of her bag, and I'm like, oh my God, where did you get that? She goes, oh, I did that. And I go, I need to learn how to do that. And she said, oh, well, I teach it. So we became friends, and I used to go to a hook-in at her house every month with fellow hookers, and some of them had a real specific and pristine style, and some of them had a real carefree style. And obviously mine was more carefree. But I started playing with rug hooking, and I just fell in love. Now, I don't do it so much anymore. I have an issue with the wool industry. I am a vegan, and I don't want to contribute to any demand for the modern wool industry. So I do use repurposed wool. Now, back in the day when I first started rug hooking, probably about 60% of my wool was repurposed and about 40% was new wool. And so I would no longer do that today because I feel differently about that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm not here to preach veganism at all. I'm just saying that I have bags of repurposed wool that I can use when I decide to go back to rug hooking. But in the meantime, let me show you my journal covers. So it started with this one. So after I would just sketch out the perimeter of my panel for each book, and I did them periodically. Sometimes I'd do several at a time, and sometimes I would do one or two. So before I would cut it away from the burlap, I would steam it so it would press down really tight, which is what you do in rug hooking. And then I would cut away the burlap and keeping it pretty close as I could get it. And then I would adhere it onto the cover with either Fabri-Tac or gel medium, and it worked. I would weight it down, of course, and leave it overnight, and it always worked. So anyway, this was my first one, and it was just sort of a carefree, ditzy little play with some of the strands. I'm not going to go in order because I don't know the order of them. And this one is like a blackbird at midnight. All kinds of great stuff. I really loved having these journals. They're so yeah, they're weird. There's some cool stuff in here. There's a lot of words and expressions. But now the covers are really very beautiful to look at, and when I hold them, I feel more of a reverence for just not what's inside, but what I've done with this book. Here are some sort of cat paws. They call them little circles. And you can see I would be sometimes in a rush, not too worried about getting it perfect, because there's something very nice about having it just be primitive. Here are wool strips that I just coiled up and glued down. That was so easy, so fun, relaxing. I could probably trim that off. Maybe I'll trim that off later. But yeah, I mean, and they're not all even, but isn't it wonderful? It's just so lovely to hold these. Here is a real loose floral. And then these Black-Eyed Susans are a little bit more controlled, but yet the edges are rough. And then another loose floral. This was the only sketchbook I had from Moleskine that actually pulled away from the spine. All the other ones hold up so well, and they all lie flat. That was one of the great things I love about Moleskines. And then finally I have this one. Let's see. They do kind of come apart a little bit, but that's probably been hanging out there for a while. So, yeah. These are my Moleskine sketchbooks with my hooked wool covers. And I hope you enjoyed seeing them. I love sharing them with you. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't do any primitive rug hooking lately. It doesn't mean that I won't. Oh, one more thing I will show you. I was looking, I have this wall pocket that I hooked a long time ago. I don't use it as a wall pocket. I just sort of pin it on my wall. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, you know you want to, just go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.